I brought this up about 4 weeks ago. There was an initiative brought by the federal government of Canada that they were going to introduce a $5,000 EV what do you call it?
Incentive.
It's not a.
No,
I'm sorry.
rebate incentive.
Incentive. Yeah.
Incentive.
So there's a $5,000 incentive that was going to be offered. What we're told at the beginning that it could come into effect over a longer period of time. But today at 11 a.m. Eastern, it was announced that this credit would take effect on May the 1st of this year. Wow. So just a few weeks away from today, this $5,000 credit will be available to all residents of Canada across the 10 provinces and territories, where they will be able to purchase a vehicle and apply for the $5,000 incentive off the price of the car. Now, there is a caveat, of course, is the price of the car. The MSRP cannot be above $45,000. And you say, how many cars would actually come in under that amount Canadian? And that would be 29 units. So there's 29 different cars that would qualify for that amount. The other part of it is that the car that's under $45,000, that's before special options like paint and maybe things like upgraded interior or leather seats. You have $10,000 to play with that. So if there's a base car that's under $45,000, it will apply for it, and you can spend up to another $10,000, so up to $55,000 to get the car with the interior creature comforts that you wish. So that's great. That's why there's a number of different vehicles that qualify for it out of the gate. Unfortunately, Tesla's not one of those. Tesla does not make the cut because the base car here in Canada is $47,500. So $2,500 above the limit.
But with fuel savings,
the government is not considering fuel savings. But good call.
So could them not making the cut for this have also played into their inability to make enough true base model cars?
Well, considering that the price was always $47,500.
And what was the Canadian price on the standard?
$47,500 is the price in Canadian.
So they would have met it if they
would have not have made it.
Okay.
They are $2,500 above the base that the Canadian government needs. So there's been, a somewhat of an uproar where people are going, is the Canadian government serious about trying to introduce EVs to the population if they're going to cut out one of the most popular vehicles, the Model 3, that in recent memory?
It worked in Germany.
It did. But there was a problem with Germany, if you remember. Tesla limited a number of options on the car to bring the base price down.
Yes.
And then later the government asked from the owners that bought it, they wanted the $2,000 incentive back.
Because they all optioned up.
Because they optioned up. So there is a danger that if you artificially lower the price and allow people to buy things after the fact, that the government said it was never truly that price in the first place. You just doctored the system, and they come back after you. So again, I don't know if that's going to happen with the Canadian government, but what unfortunately has happened here, and Russell and I talked about this just as the show started, was that the perception of Tesla in Canada and probably elsewhere, probably everywhere really, is that it's a luxury car. It is a car that upper middle class to rich buy, and the government doesn't want their name associated with giving a tax credit, or in this case an incentive, to a company that's selling a luxury vehicle. And that unfortunately is what I believe is the case, that they've really written the rules to not allow Tesla into this particular incentive.
That's the biggest uproar here in the States and in Germany was that, oh, you're just giving money to rich people, even though
Right.
they didn't realize that so many people have stretched to actually get this car because of the TCO.
Yeah,
But it's tough. It's tough for a government to fight that swell of feeling
Populism.
where people want to,
Yeah.
bring the pitchforks and burn the torches and come to the government gates and scream that you're giving our money away to rich people. It's tough to fight.
Squeaky wheel and all. Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at this list of 27 different models. There's a lot of cars, good cars on this list.
Yep.
So I'm one other way of looking at this is in any country where you have a large conservative element, whether it's Canada or the US, and they are somewhat similar in that sense, government, the national government kind of flips back and forth. So you want to do things that that fit your agenda. And one of those things for a liberal government is encouraging sustainable energy, encouraging cleaner cars. But you don't necessarily want to be seen as, again, doing something stupid. And in this case, I totally support that $45,000 ceiling. Now, there should be more choices under that ceiling. And hopefully there will be some encouragement for manufacturers to send a less expensive battery electric vehicle to Canada, knowing that the government's going to kick back $5,000 on it.
Well, I mean, if that chart is right, give it 2 more years.
Maybe.
Yeah. But I mean, a couple of things. One, if you're going to put an upper limit, you're going to have cars that don't meet it. And so then you're always going to have someone saying, well, you did that on purpose. And two, I mean, again, I'm looking at this list and you have Audi and Chevy and Chrysler and Ford, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, Mini, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Toyota, VW, and Smart. And some of them have multiples. Hyundai Ioniq, Kona, Sonata, and hybrids. The Kia Niro, Optima, Soul, the Mini Cooper, and there's multiple cars on this list, and
a lot of hybrids.
They're helping a lot of people buy a lot of good cars. I have no problem with any part of this.
One thing, and certainly you don't want to kick a gift horse in the mouth, but what you are also looking at is that what kind of volume are these other manufacturers able to supply to Canadians that want an EV?
Not
like
much.
The e-Golf is on that list. Guess how
Right.
many e-Golfs have been given out to this point in Canada? I could count them on one hand and still have 2 fingers left. There's not a lot. But if you get a base Tesla car, for example, they have allegedly the ability to ship tens of thousands into Canada. They could equal or double all the other manufacturers combined in this list.
Mm-hmm. And they
So
have done that in
again,
other countries.
if the idea is to let's make a dent in pollution, wouldn't you want to get as many as you could into the country? But again, I understand what this is. This is a political minefield that they have to navigate, and they can't just go ahead and be seen as giving tax money away.
But how many of those other manufacturers are building an extensive supercharging network across Canada right now? And
that would be one.
Develop that infrastructure and helping electrify that country to make this practical. And I understand there's politics involved, but it seems short-sighted.
I see incentives like this as a double-sided sword. It incentivizes 2 different groups of people. It incentivizes the consumers because it takes the money off of the price of the car. And it should incentivize the manufacturers because they know if they're on this list, hopefully people are going to be asking about their cars. So my hope is the people who are not putting a lot of cars into Canada are going to see their name on this list and say, hey, maybe we're going to have a market now.
Maybe. Are any of the Volkswagen press releases going to fall into this this batch, or just the existing car?
Just existing. Yeah. And I believe that they can apply to be added to the list if the car is going to show up next year. But the government would have to look at it and approve it and to officially put them on the list. So we will see. But May 1st, another incentive is hit. If you're in the province of Quebec or British Columbia, you can also get the provincial rebate on top of it. So
Nice.
Quebec, I believe, has a $8,000 rebate, and BC has a $5,000 rebate. So they can combine, and you could get quite a bit with the two of them. All the other provinces and territories would just have the federal one available to them, which is a big plus for some provinces that have never had anything.
Yeah.
I've been lucky here in Ontario that we had quite a large one a little while ago, and I was able to get in as part of that. But the eastern provinces, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI, they've never had any rebate at all. Going out west, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, again, nothing. So this is a boon to all Canadians. So certainly it's a step in the right direction.